Good morning from lovely Clarksville, Tennessee, my friends. I am in my war bunker as I prepare for my big game tomorrow. And yeah, I'm not getting hit, so I'm fine. Yeah, no, Arena Crown Eve. Very excited, guys. Levac and guys. On today's Friday. I don't know what day it is. I think it's Friday, right?
Today is Friday, August 7th, 2026. On these Friday editions of the show, we get that early release out as often as we can because people are hitting vacation, people are traveling, people are enjoying the beach, mowing the lawn. So, a little early release on these Fridays. We'll tell you why a little. I'll tell you why now. Look, when we would do shows later on a Friday, I saw the numbers. The least amount of listened to shows were those summer Friday shows, especially in the afternoon. So hopefully we get some more people listening to this show, in particular the Arena Crown preview, which is coming up. But before we get to that, two quick things. First, let's tell you where we're going to be Monday. Is we're going to be live this Monday at Mohawk Con in Glenville with all the things hopefully in motion here. We're going to be back in Glenville, New York. I can tell you we will be doing a show there thanks to our friends in Mohawk Honda. It's Mohawk Honda where they always go out of their way to please you. I love my ride. My pilot just went to the driveway because we took my wife's Odyssey. We took that to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware for a few days. So appreciate everybody over at Mohawk Honda. My wife loves her vehicle. I love my ride as well. If you're looking for a new vehicle this summer or you just got back from the summer road trip, now's the time to upgrade your vehicle with some great deals going on there. Glenville, New York's the spot. Shout out to Greg Johnson and Lindsay Harrod and everybody there. Plus, don't forget, they are collecting hygiene products throughout the entire month of August, so bring that in as well. Help out local communities here in the capital region. Help out people who are looking for it. Monday, the first Levac and Gaz non-traditional media show in 2026. What will happen? What will it look like?
Will I
Hopefully,
be
we'll be
there?
celebrating. Will Levac be there? How will he get there? We'll be celebrating, hopefully, an Albany Firebird Championship on that Monday with players, coaches, and more. It's Mohawk Honda. This Monday, our first live show, we are back in the capital region where they always go out of their way to please you. Second thing before we get to the Arena Crown preview, you were on with our good friends Quinn and Cantero, who are iHeartMedia employees in Albany. How did that go this morning?
It's great. I mean, you know those guys. Like they're amazing. They're awesome. And I think it might be the weirdest uncoupling like in the history of our industry where nobody's mad. You know what I mean? Like a decision was made by people that we'll never meet about people they'll never meet. I like it. They call it a riff, the reduction in force. I like that better than what I've been saying. So, yeah, it was just and it was so non-dramatic that Quinn got bored. Quinn's like, I don't want to talk to this anymore. Like, oh, you love me, I love you, like whatever. Like,
They should
but
have called me. I'll have some bodies to beat up if you want. I'll give you a riff. I'm fine.
yeah, no, like, my beef isn't like it's. I heard so our former market president Rob, it got back to me that he was mad at me, and I was like, how? What? We just talked. We were gonna go see Five Finger Death Punch together. Like I couldn't because I had to do stuff for get ready for this. And he's mad because he said no one's ever made it easier for him to let them go than you. I was like, because it wasn't, there was no drama. Again, corporate America. There's a list that comes out and they say, do what we say. So I handed him my laptop, I handed him my key fob. I was like, can I get my stuff out of my office? And I'll see you at Five Finger Death Punch. Like, he's a good, very good friend. I love Quentin Cantera. I love that they're still promoting the birds. So, and then I am a little sad though. So I was part of bringing in 6 interns and I lovingly called them my ducklings because wherever I went, they would all follow me in line. So like I literally have a text group called the Ducklings, and they all reached out afterwards. And they all said like, seriously, today's their last day. I was like, oh man, I wish I could be there to see my little ducklings,
Oh,
as they walked out the door, for the last time, hopefully in a line. But
there they go.
yeah, Theater Kid and the Darkness and the Ginger Ninja. Like, yeah, it's just they're all my friends. And as you like to say, the male one, and the softy. Like, we just had.
The one with the odd feet, is she still there?
Yeah, she's the Darkness. She's like the sweetest thing on the planet, and you talk to her, and then she's just like, "I like to drown kittens." It's like, no, stop! What are you doing? No, and she never really said that, but you could tell it
Get
was
the
right under
idea?
the.
Yeah.
It was right under the rippling water. It was right there. So, yeah, no.
Just
So it was good. It's always good to talk to those guys. I love those guys. So, um, yeah, and it was, and you know, Cantera, he can't not say the awkward thing. He's like, I checked with the bosses, and they said we could talk to you, and it was fine, and it was just weird, and like I was just like, I was like, oh, I didn't know we were gonna go there. I thought we were just gonna like, all right, fine. Forget it, let's go. Yeah, whatever.
I'm glad those guys are like that. There's a reason those guys kick butt and have for 10+ years, that they know the way to handle themselves, and they don't mind that. Hey, if this is best for the show, and it's got a little bit of, it makes people tune in, so they know what they're doing. I appreciate those guys.
And then and Cantera said he's
love.
gonna call Wilson Contreras for me and try to get a home run done tonight, so I can move on to the bigger pool. So that's
Nice.
fine. Actually, real complete side note. So like I jokingly say he's going to call Wilson Contreras to the Red Sox, who are on a 13-game heater, 13 straight wins versus teams with winning records. It's tied for the longest since 1961.
Let's just do it right here. Let's just do it.
Okay.
I had the banner ready. That's Red Sox fan. Enjoy this moment. We're leading with the Red Sox with Levesque, but go ahead.
Well, I just need Wilson Contreras to home run, but kind of this story, but a different story. I'm talking to Corey, who is the owner. He's the owner of the Kentucky Barrels. His real company that his day job is Worldwide Prestige. He gave me a hat last night, and I just yelled boats and hose. Yeah,
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. Worldwide Prestige.
He knows. He goes, Levac, Raiders fan, right? And I'm like, yes, but nothing. No conversation ends well that starts that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just my life is Raiders fan, right? You suck. He goes, I've become friends with somebody that you're not going to believe. So, like, Jeff Fisher is allegedly going to get me on the phone with John Gruden at some point, like stuff like that. Like, I'm having a great time. Let's not say it. He goes, you got to guess who it is. I'm like, bro, the Raiders been around for since 61 or something like that. Like, is it current? Is it former? His current, big guy.
Oh, current. Because my guess was going to be Bill Romanowski. That actually was going to be my guess. Because
But you and I have met Bill Romanowski.
Yes.
And I'm way more afraid of his wife than I am of him. So he's going. He won't like tell me. And then finally, I just look at him and I'm like, he goes. I give you one final clue. Notre Dame. I go, I've already met Tim Brown. He goes, I don't know Tim Brown. I'm not that important. I'm like, are you talking about Michael Mayer? He goes, yeah. Become friends with Michael Mayer. I guess his friend knows his whatever. They grew up in the same neighborhood or some nonsense, like whatever. So Michael Mayer is like, he texts Michael Mayer while I'm sitting there and says, you're never going to believe this. The guy who used to be the team president in Albany, now he does all this stuff with the league. Gigantic Raiders fan. He just told me 7 minutes of why he loves the way you play football. He's like, send me something, I'll sign it and send it back.
Wow.
Yeah, dude,
Dude,
it was such a cool moment. It was such a cool, so yes, so I'm gonna have so now I'll have Bo Jackson, Tim Brown, Max Crosby, Aiden O'Connell. I have two Aiden O'Connell autographs. Anybody wants one of them? Maybe we'll do like a drawing, like a giveaway at some point. And I'm gonna have a Michael Mayer. So
I'll tell you what, man. Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers, they got to figure out a way. Old school Patriots with Hernandez and Gronk, that double tight.
Nobody's going to jail.
No, exactly right. Somebody figure that double tight out. I know the Bucks kind of did it in the early 2000s. But again, that's Gronk. I'm starting to notice a common theme there. Why it's easier to run two tight end sets when you have Gronk running out there. Yeah. If they can figure that out, because he's so talented, Mayer. Yeah. Obviously, how good Brock is. Like, he was there's something there. Maybe Fernando's the key, right? Just dumping it down as a rookie. Maybe Cousins is what they used to call him, Captain Checkdown. Hey, moving the chains. As Al Davis said, just win, baby. Who cares if it's 17-14? Dump it off to those two and give Genty the ball when he needs it.
When you look at that wide receiver core, it's Brock Bowers is your number one receiver, right? So Michael Mayer just has to be your slot receiver, your number 2, your 3, your 4, your 5, whatever. And that dude is so big, he blocks. Like, yeah, because that's what I said to him. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. Like, when they drafted Mayer, I got super excited. And then a year later, they drafted Bowers, and I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we? How are we doing? But you couldn't pass up Brock Bowers the way he plays. But when Brock Bowers was out a lot last year, Michael Mayer stepped in and he handled business. So to your point, that two tight end set for the Raiders, if that offense is going to be productive this year, that's going to be a huge part of it.
Quickly back to the Red Sox, just because we went a little different direction there.
Yeah.
I'm still, this is August 7th, one more time. I'm still blown away by this team. And maybe this theme of, I can't believe this team is winning, here they are, happens every year in baseball. There is that one team where it's like, okay, I didn't see that team being this good. And even this year, like, we mentioned the White Sox before. Gosh, 4 years ago it was the Orioles, a little bit of the Reds and the Twins and the Tigers. Like, we've seen teams like that pop up. This Red Sox team in particular. Now, Contreras didn't play for the second straight game because he was sick. But speaking about sick, I took my kids to the McDonald's playground yesterday. I don't know if one had a cough, the other one's belly hurts, and Jordan's like, I wonder where the germs were. I don't know. Anyways, this is insane. This is crazy because this win streak in particular for the Red Sox, they beat the White Sox and the Dodgers. Those are first place teams or top tier teams in baseball. Contreras sets the tone. I get it. He didn't play. But the I will fight you after every pitch is something. It's not the village idiots of 2004, 2003, 2004. Oh, gosh, my math almost went there. Yeah, right. And it's also not the team of 2019, 18, right in around there. I think it's 2018, the one that wins the World Series. That team was loaded, and I'll still put them against any team who has suited up for the Red Sox that's won the World Series. That's how stacked that team was in 2018. It was the World Series champion team. Levac, can you make any of this make sense? And do you think Boston, because of how hot they really are, can catch Tampa or New York at this point for the division crown?
It's the uncursing of Pop Earl. It's Pop Earl. That's what's happened here. And for those of you who didn't listen to the terrestrial radio version of this, Boston Dan forced me to go to a Red Sox game, which it was an amazing time. We're in the Sam Adams suite, which, you might as well be in a church in Boston if you're in the Sam Adams suite. And they let me take the cookie jar. And on the way out, with all the great unwashed of Boston, I'm screaming, Pop Earl, finally got to a game, Pop Earl. People are cheering. Since I might have to go home and take a hammer to Pop Earl. I might have to, because I can't have them being this good. And if Pop Earl is part of why they're good, Pop Earl has to go. That's all.
Someone must be sacrificed. Someone must be the representative of this.
There's still cookie crumbs in that cookie jar that was an urn leaving the building. I have not washed it. It sits on a counter. I used it to smuggle out bags and bags of Cracker Jacks. I'm partially responsible for this Red Sox domination. I just need Wilson Contreras to hit a freaking home run like tonight, tomorrow, or Sunday. So, like, if you could, I don't care if you win or lose. Just I need to stay alive in the dinger pool. I did my homework. This is supposed to be a good pick. He's playing good ball. He's hitting and getting on base and scoring and stuff. But Jesus, can you put one over the wall? That stupid gimmicky green monster of yours. Hashtag C4, yo. What up?
Even the roster, like if you think about it, the roster. Roman Anthony was supposed to be the best player. He's barely played this season. He was supposed to be the guy. Connor Wong is a veteran. Trevor Story's a veteran. Those are supposed to be the guys. Again, the Capital Region connection. Jahmai Jones, Malachi Jones's brother, is now on the Red Sox. So there is a little 518 rooting interest if you're trying to find
it's not Malachi.
Yeah, there's a like these aren't supposed to be the guys. Braves, what? He's the guy. It's the best story in baseball in 2026. Is this Red Sox team? Sonny Gray, remember him? Yep. I mean, he's there. Conley Early, by the way. He's not even on the team anymore. He got dealt. Aroldis Chapman, like, what are we? Even their best pitchers only pitched 6 games, right? Like, crazy, this Red Sox team. To the question, can they catch New York or Tampa? Yeah. I mean, if you're winning at this rate, of course you can. You're 5 back. you got enough space to do it. Of course, yeah. So they definitely can still win the AL East, which is crazy to think about. We're having that conversation here approaching mid-August.
Well, and their farm system has been solid for what 7, 8 years, something like that. And you're seeing a lot of those young guys come up. They made some smart additions. They fired that cheater. Um, yeah, it sucks that how good they are, but if if you're a baseball fan and somebody says to you, "Hey, at the end of August, September, the Yankees and the Red Sox are going to decide, or be a huge part of deciding who wins the AL East," sign up. You always want that. You always want that. That's why rivalries are rivalries. So Tampa needs to sit down and let the adults handle this and fight it out to the end. Judge needs to come back, and the Yankees, because that's the worst part, is like the Yankees are playing pretty good ball considering all the injuries and stuff they've got going on. The Mets suck, but whatever. But yeah,
They do. They stink.
here come the Sox. So it's annoying, but it's good. That's baseball, Susan. That's baseball, Susan.
That's arena football, Susan. And guess what? I'm calling a little audible here. We're gonna close with our arena crown preview. We're gonna make that the final story today. I'm calling a little audible here. I'm mixing up the banners. At one point, I'll figure out how a ticker in our rundown works, but we're getting there. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame quickly. The game from last night. And Levac, I'm ready for a hot take on a Friday morning. That's the best Hall of Fame game ever. You hear me? That's the greatest Hall of Fame game that's ever been played in the history of this thing. We had games get called early. We had no idea what's going on. Chris Collinsworth
for the Raiders.
That's right. Chris Collinsworth. I know you're not a huge fan of his, but I'll say this about Collinsworth last night. That guy was so excited for football.
Yeah.
We all were excited. Collinsworth never stopped smiling for 4 quarters. I know you had a lot going on last night. I watched more of this than I thought I was going to watch. Haynes King becomes the hero with a game-winning touchdown as time expires. He was awesome at Georgia Tech. He should have gotten a lot more love for national awards and all conference awards. I know he was a grown man playing quarterback, though.
He's older than you.
He's very old. Georgia Tech's one of those teams. This happens every year in college football. If they win one more big game, they're probably talked about more and in the mix for that ACC and everything else. Great finish. Of course, social media is ablaze about how some players played because now that's the greatest way to do the freezing cold takes. Talk about how a player played in a Hall of Fame or a preseason game. But maybe I'm being a little pessimistic. Any thoughts? Carson Beck, Haynes King, the players who did take the field last night. Anybody impress you, or is it still preseason game 4 and don't take too much into it?
I had every intention of watching this game, and the conversation I had with a couple people was basically like, and we had this conversation. Like, I'm starving for NFL. I'm starving for it. Like I want NFL. I'm in Tennessee getting ready for a football game. I was so into it. I was ready for it. Then we had the mixer, and I got a chance to really talk to Jerry Kurz and Greg Pogue, Christy McEwen, Gary Compton is one of my favorite hangs. Like he's one of my favorite people to hang out with. And when he got here yesterday, he was dealing with like the last day of a head cold. So I was like, "Are you mad at me? Like, why aren't we having fun?" Gary Compton showed up last night. So yeah, so everybody, and almost everybody has a nickname now. Like everybody calls me Modus. Everybody calls now Jared from media. Everyone calls him Peanut because he gave himself that nickname, whether he liked it or not. I call Gary Cool Mo G because the way he rolls.
I like that one. That's good.
Yeah. And then everybody, Greg Pogue down here, they call him Mayonnaise because he goes on everything. Like,
that's my favorite one of the group.
Yeah, right. So my goal was for Cool Mo G, Modus, Peanut, and Mayonnaise to watch the game. But the mixer's going on. Jeff Fisher. I live a life right now, guys, where Jeff Fisher, member of the Bears defense, one of the more successful head coaches, businessman, walks up behind me while I'm talking to somebody, pats me on the back. He's like, "What's up, Levac?" And he walks away, and I'm just like, "Hi." All this is going on, and I looked down at my phone at 0-0 in the first quarter. I'm like, all right, I'm not watching this crap. I'm just gonna keep going where I'm going. And then I looked down at my phone again because I bet the over. And the over was like, I think it was 33 and a half when I bet it, 32 and a half. So I'm like, well, I'm screwed. I look down at the end of at the end of the half, it's 34 points. I'm like, I'll take that. Right. Cash in tickets early, baby. So I watched zero. I say all of that to say this. I watched 0 minutes of this game, but I won money, so I'm happy.
That's a win. That's the way to start off August wagering. We warned people on yesterday's show, be careful what you're going to fire off on a Thursday against the Hall of Fame game.
That's fair.
It was awesome. It was the NFL. I talked a little bit also about the presentation, like what are they going to focus on? I think it was cool what they did about the class coming up. We'll mention that in like 2 minutes here coming up of actually focusing on the inductees and everything else. But football is back on our televisions, and we wanted it so badly from some of us from the moment the Super Bowl ended until now. It's been 6 months. There we go. And we have more football to come in August and all the way through February. So it was football back on the television, and a lot of people rejoice. And we'll have a little bit more focus on storylines and impact on rosters and everything else when it comes to the New York teams who take the field later this month. The Panthers and Cardinals, the Panthers won the South last year, and they were hanging with the Rams. They almost took them out. Arizona's projected to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. They didn't look that terrible out there, so still some storylines to take. I would love to go there one day, and that kind of swings us over to this next conversation. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is inducting a new class on Saturday, but I wonder what the focus really will be on the class of 2026, because this class only has 5 members. Remember, the class of 2025 only had 4 members. Why am I noticing how long the classes are or how they've changed? Well, because they changed the rules, because in 2024, 7. In 2023, 9. You're kind of getting the concept here. You can go look at the 2020 class, which was an anniversary class. I'm going to just 20 plus. Good gosh, how big was that class? So since 2020, exactly, since 2020, how to get in the Hall of Fame is much different. This year's class includes Drew Brees, Roger Craig, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, and Adam Vinatieri. I have no pushback on any of those players. They're all fantastic. But who didn't make the Hall is just as big as this year's class, because those names include Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, Eli Manning, Frank Gore, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Jason Witten, Terrell Suggs, Marshall Yanda. Those are some monster names who didn't get in. Levac, what do we make? What do you make of this year's class? And unfortunately for the class of 26, do you think we'll remember who didn't get in rather than who is going in?
Well, yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about Belichick. The fact he's not in is stupid. Like that's dumb. I think the cool part about this Hall of Fame class is, like, when we first heard it, that was the story. Why isn't Belichick in? I know a lot of people younger than myself are like, who the hell is Roger Craig? Like, but he was the prototype. Like, he was the beginning of what we do with running backs now. Larry Fitzgerald looks like he can still play. Like, he looks like with the exception of his hairline, he looks like he did when he was a rookie.
Did you hear? Sorry, real quick. Did you hear his quotes me out? Just because he said he looks like he can still play. Did you hear his quote? He is refusing to retire still.
Good. Well, yeah, but aren't you supposed to be retired 5 years before you can get in?
Because remember, he never did the retirement thing. He never retired. He just won't say retired. He protests the word. He's transitioning. I remember the old Syracuse columnist Bud Pollock would say, reimagining. He's one of these people.
He's been liberated from playing football.
That's right. Riff.
Riff. Reduction in force. Dude, it's a great group when you really look at it, but I do think that Bill Belichick not being part of it is going to be the story for a lot of people.
Adam Vinatieri, argument can be made he's the greatest kicker in the history of professional football for the impact of the kicks that he made, his accuracy, what he meant for the big game. An argument could be made there. Larry Fitzgerald, when we really sit down and think about it, an argument can be made he's the greatest wide receiver of all time. I know everyone's always going to say Jerry Rice. I get that. People are going to point to Moss and Calvin Johnson, but Johnson played a lot less. Randy Moss and T.O. had attitude issues. Jerry Rice played in a different era, from consistency to catching the football to making plays to almost winning that Super Bowl, right? That Cardinal Steeler. He's in the discussion as a top 5. If not, I can build the team. I want Larry Fitzgerald. Statistically, Drew Brees is one of the great quarterbacks of all time, and what he did for New Orleans, and he mentioned this on the broadcast last night, how tough it was to make New Orleans a Super Bowl winner and how interesting his career was post San Diego. So I caught myself there, almost called him LA, post San Diego. And you go watch Roger Craig and Luke Kuechly. These dudes don't even exist anymore. Marshall Faulk, Christian McCaffrey, and Roger Craig, the only guys in a season to go 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing, and Craig's, you can make the case, is harder than any of those other two. And Luke Kuechly, it was DJ on Twitter or Instagram, sent over a Kuechly highlight. Nobody plays like him anymore. Like the whole sport looks different. Kuechly's right around my age. I believe he's the same age as me, same recruiting class. Shows how young he is, and I'm like, nobody hits like that anymore. Nobody slams quarterbacks. Nobody's that fast and that good of an athlete. So credit to all those guys. They're all amazing. But the problem is we are getting real close Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is what bothers me about baseball's Hall of Fame. Not so much about basketball because it's everybody. It's international and college. But we're starting to lose the plot here. Bill Belichick, if you want to punish him for Deflategate and all that stuff, I can hear that out. But when I don't hear that and just like, oh, he didn't make this year's. Robert Kraft, think what you want of him. His resume stacks up as good as any owner in the history of the league. It just does. I'm always going to bat for Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne. Like, we still have to have some of these guys get in. Awesome class, but I'm with you. I think we're going to look back and be like, oh, man, when are these guys going to get in? When is this a story? But one day, give me over to Canton, Ohio, man. I want to see that place. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to go see that. Maybe a Levac and Gaz live show or something.
Oh, that would be awesome, dude.
Maybe I'll ask Jeff Fisher to give me an introduction to somebody and figure it out.
You know what? Gosh, they might have stopped doing this. They used to have a Radio Row thing. They used to do something like that. They used to do a Radio Row on ESPN's Bristol campus and a Radio Row at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I guess we're not. Media Row. How dare I? Can't use that term. Media Row. Podcast Row. Yeah. Let's move on to more NFL talk here. Jameer. Let me make sure you'll understand why I said that right there. Jameer Sonic Gibbs got paid yesterday. All the running backs. Do you think Gibbs? Yeah, I'm going to jump to the question before I give the storyline. I wonder if Gibbs was sitting there thinking like Bijan got paid, Jonathan Taylor got paid. Hey, what? I'm just as good as these guys. I should be in this conversation. Whoever's his agent, good for you, man. Good for you. As he's now become the highest paid running back in the history of the NFL, a 3-year, $75.75 million deal with 51 plus guaranteed. Well, we knew that Sonic would be by himself this upcoming season as Knuckles David Montgomery's moved on to the Texans. What do you make of the deal here for Jameer Gibbs and a third running back getting paid? And again, for the second time in a row, I'm going to double question you. Have we finally turned the corner in pro football? Do running backs finally matter again?
Yeah, no, that number one, yes. I mean, and not just running backs. Like, I mentioned this. Like, we look at running backs now like slightly different than we used to. We look at them, when we do our fantasy football drafts. The argument between Jonathan Taylor and Jameer Gibbs and Bijan Robinson is going to be, well, Jonathan Taylor's going to give me 100 yards a game, but is he going to catch any footballs? Where Bijan might give me 95 rushing, but he's going to catch 2 balls for 45. You know what I mean? Like the receiving part of the game. Like Roger Craig was one of the guys who, like, I remember him being a Swiss Army knife out of the backfield. So yes, the running back is back in vogue. The running back is back to being one of the big weapons on the football field, especially running backs under the age of 30. But I think if I was Jameer Gibbs, I was thrilled to see those 2 contracts happen. And if I was his agent, thrilled, because my negotiation just changed. My negotiation is now, you waited, you took too long, now you're going to pay more than those guys did. So, scoreboard, like, I won the scoreboard if I'm Sonic, and Now remember, they did pick up Isaiah Pacheco, so he could be the knuckles of this offense. But um, yeah, you, it's so hard not to pocket watch when you're in that position because that is one of the scoreboards. Um, I guess I guess Bijan still wins because he said as soon as it went public, the first call he got was Matthew McConaughey. So
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty
yeah,
awesome.
he's pretty high on the list. But yeah, just I as long as it's done before as long as your team isn't Tampa Bay, who is telling people their quarterback's a franchise quarterback but unwilling to pay their quarterback franchise quarterback, who is telling people I don't want to trade my defensive tackle, but I don't want to pay my defensive tackle. You're fine. Everything's fine as long as you're not Tampa Bay.
Allegedly, their GM says nobody's going anywhere. So I didn't even want to mention that this week, but we got it into the show. There it is. Allegedly, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, like the playoffs. They're not going there.
They stink. Speaking about Tampa, I've said this about Gibbs. I'll keep saying it. If you, I'm seeing sports from a different lens now as my sons get older here. Gibbs is that guy for the like 10 and under crew, like the kids who are learning about sports and learning about football. Because again, to the agent, to the marketing team, this guy figured it out. First, the nickname Sonic, the blue with the lines and Sonic, and how easy for kids to understand. I think the show comes back. Love NFL Slime Time on Nickelodeon. So he's like the main character because he's so easy to edit. Two other massive things, right? You got those two things. You got the Sonic nickname. You got the Nickelodeon sideline. He's obviously good. But the number 0, like it just started. You could wear that. So there's not a lot of famous zeros in the history of the NFL because he's the one. So I saw kids yesterday rocking zeros who wanted to be running backs. I'm like, they wanted to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I will never forget this story. Hopefully I will never forget this story because it just happened last year. But you mentioned my Buccaneers, right? So the Bucs played the Lions on Monday Night Football, and my middle son Wes was watching the game with me, and he wanted to watch Sonic because he liked the movie and everything else. So he's sitting there, and there goes Gibbs for like 60 yards for a touchdown, and he's running. And Wes is laying on me, and he goes, "Dad, aren't they supposed to catch him? Dad, why can't they get Sonic? Dad, isn't it the Buccaneers?" I'm like, yeah, Wes, they can't get. Just peace. Ran for like I think close to 140 yards in that game. So he's awesome. He's an awesome player. Two things bothered me about this Jahmyr Gibbs thing though yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm out on the flag football field, and we're all trying to figure out who's on what team and everything else. So one of the guys, I don't really know him very well, but his son is older than my son, so we know we're going to be separated. Like he's going to go off with like the 7-year-olds. My son's 6. So I was like, he kind of knew like, hey, you're going to do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. We're just not going to work together this year. That's okay because we have different teams. So I'm over next to him, and he's like down on his phone, and he has this like concerned look. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm like, oh, we ran over on a drill, or the kids are getting hot, or we got to get off the field. Like something to the point where I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm like, what's wrong, man? Is everything okay? He's like, yeah, you won't believe it. Jahmyr Gibbs, highest paid Lion, highest paid running back ever. And I'm like, okay, I know you know his name's Jahmyr, or you don't, but I don't know. I mean, if you're going to call the highest paid running back in the NFL Jamar instead of Jahmyr, I'm like, okay, you stay on that other team, okay? You're not a ball knower, as the Gen Zers says the ball. Like, all right, whatever. You might have read it wrong. Okay. You should probably know that guy's name if you're out here. Whatever, fine. I hear so he says it loud, right? My old teammate in high school hears him, so he's helping me as well. And he goes, oh, Gibbs got paid? Dude, I love the Lions. That's my team. And I'm thinking, no, it's not, you liar. I've known you since you were a teenager. I know your team's the Indianapolis Colts. I know you're a Colt fan. Now, if you were a Jet Giant or a Bill fan, but there's no way you all of a sudden one day as a grown man said, I don't like the Colts anymore. I'm going to root for the Lions. You liar. So 2 of you got busted last night at flag football practice. Jahmyr Gibbs, and you know who you are, Tommy. I know you like the Colts, you liar. So there's my problem with the Gibbs deal. Ball knowers out on the flag field trying to trick old Ghazi Bear. Not up in here.
I ran into one of your former teammates at the playoff game at MVP.
Paul Ashburn?
Is that the shorter guy with the big hands or whatever the hell?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. He was in the he had kids in the high five line, and I didn't.
Oh no way! He's coaching South Troy. I think he's in the South Troy Pop Warner League this year. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was walking through, and I was and I don't want to. There's really, I don't know if there's a way to make this sound good. I don't want high fives. Like I want to get through the line, and the first couple times we did it, and it's really really cool. I think Biz is like the lightning rod that started our ticket guy, who's here by the way. Um, the first time that we did it, every time I walked through, a couple of the parents knew who we are. They were like, "Ah, it's Levac," and like so. I walked through like 6 freaking times when the players came through because I had stuff to do, and I had to high five. I had to high five all these kids every freaking time. And I'm like, guys, I have to go. I have to go yell at somebody because they didn't open the door when they were supposed to. And like, but now like, how are you mad after you go like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's so. But so I ran through this time like as fast as I could. I didn't even look. I like kept my eyes averted my eyes. And I got to the end. And he was looking at me, and I knew I recognized him, but I wasn't. Again, I wasn't in that headspace. And he goes, I played ball with guys, and I'm like, oh, bro, what's up, man? We hung out at Hooters. He's like, yeah. So your boy was there, even though you weren't. Your boy was there.
No, shout out to Paul, coaching up the young youth at South Troy. Although I had my long time, and I've told them this before, and I'll continue to tell them, I got my long-term, lifetime rivalry with the South Troy Trojan Warriors from 2002, who robbed me and my father and my teammates and the Gettys Westfield Knights of a national championship.
Kids, you meet all Trojans.
Speaking about Trojans, I will never forget this line. I totally botched saying this earlier, but I'm jamming this into the show right now. Someone had the perfect comparison for preseason football yesterday, and I will never forget it. Preseason football is sex with a condom on.
Unpopular opinion, I don't hate having sex with a condom on.
You don't hate preseason football either.
That's fair. That's
what I'm saying. It's so good.
I just, unpopular opinion, I like not worrying. I like focused on what I'm doing,
Think what you're saying, Levesque. You're describing preseason football. I like not worrying. If we lose tonight, it doesn't have an impact on the standings. It's kind of a practice. Hopefully things go well. Hopefully nothing rips or anything gets hurt. It doesn't feel as good as the other one, but it's getting the job done for me. It's too good of a comparison. I wish I could jam that into our AI graphic, just that quote.
Whoa, don't talk about condoms and jam it in.
Right,
by the way, you
yes.
might lose the Breeders' Cup this year. The Traps, the family that owns the Austin team, just had their 5th kid, and I think they're younger than you, or like right around your age. So they just had their first
Congratulations to the wonderful family out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're actually really, really freaking good people. Really good people. I was talking to them. They saw me. She came running across the room and gave me a huge hug. She's like, "Oh my God, you were so nice to us when you interviewed us." I'm like, "You're probably the hottest chick here. Please don't hug me. Like, I don't. Your husband is 8 feet tall, owns companies and a football team. Please don't hug me."
There's no transition there. I can't wait to meet those wonderful people. We go to the Whitney Stakes. It's 6:30 on Saturday. While the Firebirds and Cats will be playing, we're going to close with that Arena Crown preview. The Whitney, one of the most prestigious events at Saratoga. It will be run this weekend. It is an 8-horse field. In the field, Tistastic. You might know that horse. Tyler Gaffleone, Steve Asmussen, Baeza, who's been a fantastic horse. Barrio's good. But it's about 2 horses. Sovereignty. Someone check on Kaylee Shapiro on Sovereignty, as she's made a lot of money. Remember Sovereignty? That horse that won the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont, and the Travers.
Do you think she misses us?
I think she does. I was going to call her. I think she does. Sovereignty is in this race and has won all those races, but will not be the favorite at the Whitney. Instead, Magnitude is listed right now at 9-5. Of course, obviously those things can change as we get closer to Saturday. But a Group 1 winner of some big races, the Dubai World Cup, back to November, according to races. He's won all the races, top of the standings. Steve Asmussen, Levac, winner of 6 of his last 7. So I'll make sure I get all that stuff right. One of the top 20 horse racing winners in history. To hear that Sovereignty is not the favorite in a race, does this interest you about this upcoming Whitney? Is this a race you're looking forward to? Thoughts on the Whitney Saturday run? Sovereignty versus Magnitude is how it's being billed, but we know it's Saratoga. Wild things have always happened in the history of that course.
the graveyard of champions, Saratoga, New York. Um, I've this is the most I've talked horse racing this year. Right now, we've officially crossed the threshold of the most horse racing conversation I've had this entire year.
You would have been 9 hours deep in most years.
Yeah,
Now we're
yeah, at
barely
least,
90
right?
seconds deep.
I'd be listening to Roger Wild. Summer's over because we're here at Saratoga. A lot of local light breaking. Um, yeah, I guess the only thing I care about is, do you feel strong enough anyway that I should put money in my Naira Bets account?
Yes, if
Okay.
Sovereignty's at 3-1. If
Okay.
Sovereignty, I love that we have the updated odds on the Naira Bets app. No, they're not paying us to promote that. But if he's sitting at 3, I just can't imagine that.
Alavato.
If I'm gonna get 3-1 on Sovereignty and he gets beat, he gets beat. I'll shrug my shoulders and be like, you know what? Magnitude is the better horse. He's a favorite at Saratoga. He won. I move on. I don't lose a lot of. But you're telling me a horse that just won those 3 races, that was the best horse, is just gonna flat out get beat at Saratoga, and he's not the favorite. Look, if it gets closer to even or 2-1, or I gotta start doing fractions in my head here. We get what's smaller than 2-1, 1.5 to 1. He's not gonna get there. So he's gonna say 3-1. I'm gonna get the Travers Belmont and Kentucky Derby winner a year removed at 3-1 at Saratoga. I'll just do for the fact of the value. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll actually put money in my own account and do it. That's
I'm
how.
gonna check.
That's
I'm
how
gonna
big
check.
I feel about that.
I'm gonna check with Value Bro. Make sure Value Bro likes Brian Mariano.
Don't
Who's the
do
wise
sovereignty.
owl? Who's
I
that?
know.
Who's that fraud? The wise owl? Like, that's what I need to know. That
I
fraud
had.
that
I forgot who it was.
expose yourself. Tell us who you really are.
That's right.
Woo,
It was either.
woo. How
Look,
are you?
it's hard when it rains, but gosh, one of those rain days. I said somebody sent me, "Hey, I'm going to Saratoga. Got any picks for me?" And I shot him a text, and it was just closer in Champagne and Wise Owl. And they wrote back, "Oh, awesome! These guys are 4 of 37 combined. Can't wait to take their picks." It's like,
Are you just
clearly
mad
you're
at
not a
Closer
horse.
because he filled in for you? Is that why you're mad at him?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't. All right, let's talk about the Arena Crown. It's tomorrow. It is the Nashville Cats hosting the Albany Firebirds in the 2026 version of the Arena Crown in AF1. These two teams will battle for the top prize. The Albany Firebirds won the title in Albany in 2025. It's a rematch of the 2025 Arena Crown Championship. The Cats now host this season. Levac is there in Tennessee getting you ready for all the things. The award ceremony is tonight. You're listening to this maybe on a Saturday, but we're talking on a Friday morning. And the game itself. Can Albany go back-to-back? Can Nashville win their first championship these teams have played in the regular season? Nashville, more successful in those matchups than Albany. Kaplan, the kicker, a huge story in that. We've seen Kolka versus Kolka in matchups. Sam Castronova is scheduled to be the starting quarterback for the Firebirds in round 3
You hate
of
Sam.
this. Whoa.
Yeah,
Where did that come from?
You talked. You said he should be benched.
I didn't say that.
You,
I didn't say that.
You had,
Said he didn't play good.
he came right for you and had to talk you off the ledge. And now you're like, he's scheduled to be the starter. He's the starter. They got here late last night. I was already up here in bed. I got after it a little bit at the mixer, and then I put on the traveling pony show and I came upstairs. But yeah, no, Sam Castronova is the starter.
Sam Castronova is the starting quarterback. Levac, I'll give the floor to you first. What are your storylines and things you're looking about for Arena Crown 2026?
The kicker matchup is interesting. So Clint Gum, who's one of the coaches here for the Cats, he and I got to have a couple drinks, not last night, the night before, and talk. And I like him. He's just a pleasant guy. He knows his stuff. He's Darren Arbett's right hand. And he goes, "You want to know something funny?" I'm like, he's like, before this season started, we were going through the roster, and it was either going to be Kyle Kaplan or Bailey Hale as our kicker. And the deciding factor was that Bailey Hale, I think he's a coach. For the majority of the season, he would have to fly in like a day or two before the game. He wouldn't be able to be here the whole week the way Kaplan was. So both those kickers are so freaking good that they both could have been the guy. Because I will tell you right now that Kyle Kaplan he's the cheat code. You've said this before. You can't defend a deuce. You can't do That guy's on. He's 50 yards away from you, and he's kicking the ball, and you can't put your hand in the air. You can't. It's not like rushing a field goal. Um, he scored 24 points against us in the game down here. Like that's you. He's that special. But if you watched our playoff game against Minnesota, Bailey Hill is dialed in. He handled a business. Just for kicks, some would say. And they both were 24. It's going to be, bro. It's that kicking matchup. It's so weird to be a diehard old school football fan, a big guy who likes to hit people and stuff, and tell you that those two kickers could be the 100% the story of tomorrow's game.
Yes, that is all true. I don't have much to add on that. I think you did a really nice job with the special teams breakdown. So just to find a little different storyline on that one, for me, if it's not the kicking game, which that should yes, be the number one story, and I'm going to compare it a little bit to 25. Henry Nell, remember, in the 2025 Arena Crown, opens the game with a deuce, and Albany never trailed for the rest of the game. Albany had the lead wire to wire, coast to coast. Look, we just came off the horse racing topic, right? Like, never trailed. Nashville couldn't catch up. That's how big special teams was a factor in that game. So that matchup in the kicking game, huge. Definitely should be storyline number one. Number two for me would be defense and turnovers. Because in the history of these championship games, and I'm just going to kind of make this exclusively for Albany here, whether it was the Empire or more recently the Firebirds, when they've competed in these games, the swinging of the momentum and turnovers and possessions per team, right? We're talking arena football now. If my team has 13 possessions and Nashville has 11, and on those 13 possessions where I have the ball, I scored on 12 and Nashville scored on 10, there's a more likelihood I'm winning the game. Now, you could say that about any sport, that not really, right? Because there's so many scoring opportunities in arena football, and most likely the final possession is what you want, so you can have that situation of how we're going to approach this attack at the end. So we've seen big-time interceptions in championship games that have swung the momentum of the game. That resulted in another possession and another score. So who can be that team who wins that turnover battle and understands what to do with that scoring opportunity? The total possessions played. My gosh, I want to say it's the Carolina Cobras. No, it might be the Columbus Lions. I think it's the Columbus Lions. In the NAL championship, remember, they had the ball for 4 possessions, and they scored on 5 plays. Yeah. I know you remember. Remember? Touchdown. Joey Haas, I believe, was on the call with me on that game. Where all they did
were touchdowns.
Thank you. That's right. First 3 plays, and I think it was 4 scoring plays in the first 5 plays on offense. Yeah, and Albany still won that game.
Was Espinoza down the field for 3 straight touchdowns.
Yes. Yeah. So just fine. And they could, special teams played a factor in that game too, right? Some extra points. They tried getting creative and going for 2 in some of those situations. So it is special teams. It is defense. And that's not taking anything away from Kolka versus Castronova. But these teams are so evenly matched, right? The most recent matchup, Albany did lose, but that's a 3-point game. You've broken down already what Kaplan did in game 1 with that game in Nashville. And you know this too. You listening probably know this. There is a difference for a kicker kicking at home versus away. You got a lot more reps in your home arena. You know how it lines up. You know how you want the ball. That stuff, just visually seeing it, that's a huge advantage there. But that's a 3-point game most recently, and it's a 3-point game in the 2025 Arena Crown with a lot of different players. So, man, this is going to be an awesome, fantastic game between Albany and Nashville.
Low scoreboard here in Clarksville. So when you think about what Kaplan's done this year, he's done it with a scoreboard that he has to kick under or around. So he's got a line drive it, which changes everything, because a lot of these guys, it's not kick the ball super hard, it's kick the ball right. So he's either going to line drive it or he's going to angle it to get it in, and he's been doing it all year. So that definitely be a part. I think one of the, I'm sure you've been a part of this where you're talking to somebody who knows more than you, and then you make a point and they nod at you like, that was a good point. So I was talking to Darren Arbett, and I said this, I was like, I'm not always right, but I usually feel like I know how a game is going to go. I've been right, I've been wrong. I'd like to say I've been right more than I've been wrong, but I go into a game going, I know how this is going to go. We're going to win by this. They're going to do this. I told him, I go, if you told me that Sunday morning I wake up and the AF1.com is Firebirds win by 20, Cats win by 20, Firebirds win last possession, Cats win last possession, like whatever. I go, if you told me any of those, I'd be like, you're right. Like I don't know how this game is gonna go, but I did. So like Derek Jones is in their secondary now for Nashville. He was with the Cats last year. He was with the Birds last year. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And I think he's I think he's manufactured a grudge with us because he play. If you watch the way he plays, not everybody leaves, and then when they don't get to come back for whatever reason or whatever, like he plays angry against us, and it's awesome to watch. Like he plays like like you want your defensive back to play. Like he hits hard, he runs fast, he does all the things. But I looked at Darren Arbette and I go, obviously you guys, your special teams is the best special teams in football this year. That's not even a conversation. I was like, but our wide receiver core might be the best wide receiver core in the history of arena football. And he nodded. And I was just like, Darren thinks I'm smart. Well, because if you think about it, like you look at that last game, like with the way these games have been going, Tyrese Chambers, A.G. Hall, Cameron Alves, like all these guys have been playing amazing football. Well, last week, Batman and Robin came back. Dwayne Brown and Isaiah Scott were both on the field at 100%. And it's like, so you went from these dudes that are just trucking people and making big catches and doing all this stuff, and they got moved down the depth chart for two dudes who are just they're beast mode. And after the game, Dwayne Brown came to the owners, the management, and the Firebirds and said, "I'm back. I'm here. We gonna win this thing." And I was like, it was what you want to hear from one of your absolute best players who's had a tough year. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the way his season's set up, he didn't think he was playing indoors this year. He thought he was going to the UFL and maybe he would come back and join us now. Like after the season was over, a couple weeks left. But because of how crazy that Memphis team was, all of our guys came back, a couple weeks into the season. So his ramp up, his change, and everything, I think that's what caused him to have injury issues earlier in the year. But he didn't have them. And I didn't even say the other name. I didn't say Dirty Bird, Darian Townsend. Like that those three wide receivers. You go look at every great wide receiver group in the history of arena football, and they stack. They're right there. They may not be, Gary Compton. Everybody knows Gary Compton's director of football ops for the F1. Gary Compton was one of the absolute best wide receivers in arena football. There was a game in Albany, New York, where Eddie Brown and I think they both had 6 touchdowns in the same game. So I'd have to go look up the exact numbers. I tried to get him to compare his game to a modern guy. He said closest would probably be Dan Williams in Michigan. But then and you brought this guy up earlier. I was like, what about Malachi Jones? He goes, I was a lot like Malachi Jones. I was big, I was physical, I was bigger, I was tougher than you. But he played defense too. So like I'm talking to these guys about our wide receiver room, and their eyes light up. So Sam Castronova is going to have the chance to throw to these guys, and the possessions are going to matter. But I think if it's a shootout, it's Albany. If it's special teams and defense, it might be Nashville.
To that wide receiver comparison, what we've also seen in these championship games involving the wide receiver position, Albany fans know this, it sometimes isn't the top wide receiver, and take top for how you want, maybe the guy who's had statistically the best season or the guy who's led in receptions, that has a breakout game in a championship because the scouting report is focused on him, and all of a sudden it's somebody else who has a big game. We think back to last season, Isaiah Scott was right there in contention for the MVP of the championship game. He arguably had his best game ever as a Firebird in the title game in 2025. You go way back to 2021, we referenced that Columbus game. It was really Markel Wade's breakout game. Markel Wade was playing both sides in that game. He had 2 interceptions and a touchdown in that game. So we've seen these like guys who maybe during the season don't have a in comparison to the other wide receivers, the biggest stats and numbers. But they find it and they're like, well, the scouting report went this way. This guy has to step up and have a big game. And he does. So with how deep both those wide receiving cores are, and in particular Albany's there, it could be a breakout game that somebody needs to have that difference and play that fact in the game. It's going to be an awesome game. I'm thrilled for all the Albany fans to get to be there. Hopefully the atmosphere is good.
There's a lot. There's a lot here.
Oh, good.
They got it last night. I don't know how they knew what hotel we were in. Probably my fault for showing you the window yesterday, but
get him! We see him! Party on the max!
But there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Like the Albany front office is here, not just the guys that have to be here to travel a game. Like Anthony Bisner, who did a great job with tickets all year. Zach Soden, who made sure things ran smoothly all year. Ben Nelson his whole family's here. Like the Nelson family, they packed up the car, and his brother has like an Instagram like fishing page that has huge following. So I was joking. I was like, "Do you bring your poles?" He goes, "Yeah, I brought them all." So yeah, I mean, the birds traveled. I saw the Labalbos. They're here. Like it's good. Mike Corda and Matt Woods got in super late last night. They had their travel plans changed like 6 times, and then they were supposed to be in Nashville by like 6 p.m. local time, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour. If at that time of day it was gonna be about an hour to get to the hotel, and Mike texted me at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, and he's like 3-hour delay. I'm like, oh F. Like, oh. And everybody here was like, oh crap, because the big man's coming. Like this time of year, Mike Corda has 2 things on his mind. Like there's 2 things on Mike Corda's mind since we started doing arena football in 2021. And by the time we get to this point in the season, he has 2 things on his mind. Number 1, first and foremost, is to get another one of these, get a ring. But the other one is, here's what, and this is like, now Mike Corda is a big factor. Like Mike Corda and Andy Gelcher are not just the Firebirds owners. They bought into the league to make sure the league would be successful. Like that's who they are. So not only is like, Andy Gelcher running, he's got 2 car dealerships that he's the owner of now. Mohawk Chevy, and then he's got a Cadillac dealership down in New Jersey. They just launched with like his childhood best friend. It's a great story. He's helping make sure the league runs right. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's not like they didn't buy in because it's like we have a ton of money, we want to own things. They bought in because they were like, we need this league to be successful for Albany, for the Firebirds, for the fans in Clarksville and Washington and everywhere else. So Mike Corda now like has a stake in the league, but every single year we've done owners meetings, whatever league we're in, whatever it is, and Mike Corda comes in and he does 2 things. He talks shit about winning because he can, and then he fires back with a quick, this is what the league needs to do. This is what business is, and if you don't like it, GTFO. So
I love it.
So everybody knows that. Everybody, when your parents would come home and you knew you did something wrong, and you're like, do they know I did something wrong? Like that feeling. Every single person yesterday had that feeling of what did I do wrong, and how am I going to get called out? And it's instructive. It's not mean. It's instructive. It's this has got to be this. And then I told everybody, I was like, yeah, Mike's got a 3-hour delay, and everyone went F. Like I don't think there's a single person here who would have preferred his delay over their delay. They're like, I would rather be late. I would rather have a delay than have him be. But it ended up being like an hour. So they got here last night at I want to say it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. They got here. It was towards the end of the mixer, the greeting thing, and he was in a great mood. So it was just fun to watch everybody just like As a matter of fact, he was going in the elevator to just check into his room, and I yelled from across the room. I'm like, "Thanks for finally getting here," you know. And everybody's like, "So what are you doing?" He's like, "F you, fat ass." And I was like, "I weigh less than you now." And he's like, "Yeah, but I look better." And I was like, "So it was," but like everybody knows that he and I, you know, we've known each other our whole lives, you know, like, so I can get away with it, but they're like, "Dude, he's gonna take it out on us." I'm like, "No, he'll take it out on me. He'll get me. Don't worry, he'll get me."
I don't have to worry about Mike. Mike's the man. He's far enough away from states, but his presence is well known, and I'm sure he, along with Andy and everybody else rooting for the Firebirds, will be loud rooting on the team for an away game. They have still obviously obligations, as you were saying there, but you know, get to be a little bit more enjoyable during the game as an away crowd and everything else. And who knows, might be on the field, on the turf, lifting up another trophy for an Arena Crown Championship.
New trophy's gonna be here today at 2 o'clock. It's a brand
So
new trophy. It looks awesome. I've seen
for
it. I'm one of 5 people who've seen the trophy.
Nice. 4 o'clock on Vice, similar setup to last year, where they're going to stay on for all the trophy presentation, no matter what team it is, whether it's Nashville or Albany. We saw that kind of an extended broadcast last year. No pregame show.
Stage, so it's better.
Oh, no stage. What do you mean?
Oh, they have an area. I think it's usually like if you watch a Cats game where the Lady Cats dance, that area will be prepared for whoever gets to actually hoist the trophy. So because last year our stage took way too long to put together, and I've heard about that 20 times in the last 2 days.
Let's remind people, Levac didn't actually put the stage together also, although the crowd, I was right next to you. The people are like, "Levac, let's go." And you're like, I'm not putting it together.
And you know me, I don't trust those things. Like I've seen enough videos. I've seen that Kevin Costner video when he was a country singer and the wind blew the stage, like a huge stage down. So I'm like, no, take your freaking time. We're about to have like 40, 50 large humans on that stage. Put it together right. And that's the MVP crew. That's what they do. They do it right.
4 o'clock kickoff, Vice TV presentation after. You've got the award ceremony tonight. I'm hoping, because your schedule is different, you and I will put out some content tomorrow morning. Something at some time tomorrow. Probably less likely to be live, but you and I will get together for something more on Saturday, right? I know we did a good breakdown right there, but I'd like to do something with you tomorrow morning, depending on what the schedule looks like, if we can't squeeze it in.
It should be. We should be able to do something. I don't think Christy. So Christy McEwen, who's director of league and team ops, she's the one who puts. She's in control of my life for the next 48 hours.
All right, we'll do this then.
We'll ticked off. I'm not downstairs now.
We'll do this then. 10 o'clock on social media. We'll announce whether or not we are doing a live show or there's content coming. That's a pretty deep breakdown we had. We just gave you about a half hour on the game. So we will let you know. We'll share something on social tomorrow. Also, you've got all that stuff tonight. I'm off to Syracuse football camp later today, so you can follow that stuff on social media. So I have that. And then Monday, you and I live at Mohawk Honda to recap everything that happened from the weekend.
We'll see. I mean, you'll be there. I'm a very busy man. I don't know if listen, I'm excited. So yeah, we'll talk to, there's gonna be a lot of media day today. So keep your eye on the AF1.com and all the AF1, stuff. And like I said, Benny Ice is here. So the Firebirds are gonna have a ton of content. We're ready. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun couple days. If you can get to Clarksville, I would. It's beautiful here. It's a little warm, but it's beautiful. So come on out. Obviously, Gaz wants to leave me, so I'm dragging this out as long as I can just to be a dick.
Enjoy your time. I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow morning.
Hit it.